thank you everyone for coming out to the DragonCon Torchwood Miracle Day panel. I'm going to bring out our guests. I hope that's okay with you guys. First of all, his birthday is this coming Tuesday. Mr. Owen. Next up, the lovely and talented Jane Espenson. And finally, the lovely and talented Mr. John Barrowman. Thank you guys for coming. This is awesome. Thanks.
It's already awesome. We just got here.
I know, the time just really flies with these things. When you're ready, Jane, I'm going to start with you.
I'm ready.
Walk us through kind of your involvement with Miracle Day, how you got involved in the project, and sort of what was your approach going in with it?
It all happened because of Buffy. Russell liked Buffy. I know. We all like Buffy. And Russell had just come over from the UK. And he said, I'd love to, they reached out to me somehow, through my agent, I guess, and it was like, Russell and Julie want to have lunch with you. Had lunch with them. They were awesome, and just cool, and fun, and happy, and everything was hooray! And it was like, I like people who say hooray.
That's totally Julie.
Yeah, it was both of them. And then, it was like, I don't know, maybe a year went by, and I was at Caprica. Caprica was winding down, and I got a call from my agent who was like, look, I know you said you wanted to take a break after Caprica, so I know you're going to say no, but I have to officially run it by you. It's Torchwood, but I understand you're going to say no. And I had to go like, wait. He literally was hanging up the phone. And I was like, wait. No, wait, Torchwood, yes, I'm in. I don't care that I'm overworked and exhausted and half dead from Caprica. I want to be there. And that's how it happened.
And how much input did you have with Russell? Did you get to tell Russell, like, well, you know, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and he had to just say, okay? Or was it a collaborative process with you guys on sort of fleshing out where everything was going to go?
Fleshing out the details of how much work I would do for the show, or when we actually got the story?
When you actually got the story.
Actually getting to the story, it's yeah, you don't tell Russell what you're going to do.
That's why I was going to say, if you got to do that, I was going to say that.
He's very big.
Yeah,
he's very tall.
But it was very collaborative though. It was a whole writer's room, and it was much more of a writer's room process than I understand happens in the UK, where it sounds like it's done very loosely, and then the writers go off individually and write without always knowing exactly what all the other writers are doing, because everyone's sort of on their own recognizance. Here it was very much, okay, you were doing exactly, like we kept Russell in the room longer than he wanted to be, to say, okay, we want to make sure as writers that we all know exactly what we're doing. So we kind of nailed him down on that. We forced him to stay longer than he wanted to, so there was that. So when we all went out to write simultaneously, we all knew what the other writers were doing.
Nice. Now, Kai and John, did you guys sort of know before you signed up for Miracle Day that this like was going to happen? You may be going to LA, maybe doing all this, or did you guys get into the ball game sort of late? Like, was it a surprise for you?
I got a call from Julie probably about 18 months prior to going over to LA saying, just be aware there's talks, the possibility of doing series 4 of Torchwood. You know, just so bear in mind, keep maybe next summer or so free. And hopefully I'll be back with you with some more news soon. And she didn't get back to me for a long time. So I just thought, well, we'll wait and see. And then finally the call came to say, yes, Torchwood Series 4 is going ahead, and there is a chance that we will be required to come over to LA. So I didn't quite believe it, but yeah. And then it was all quite fast, because I literally got the call off Julie the day that I went to see John doing his concert in Llandudno in North Wales. That's when Julie phoned me, so maybe about a month or 5 weeks before going out.
I already knew. No, because again, Julie and Russell, you get called into those meetings, and it was exactly the same when I, first got Jack. Julie and Russell asked to see me, and I was doing my cabaret that time in London, and it was the evening of the London bombings. And I continued to do the show, so they came to that, and it was only Julie actually, not Russell, but for when we went to the States, they already had told me, keep it open, keep it booked, because even if we don't go forward with it in the US, we will still be doing it in the UK. But they were trying to find a way to make this collaboration work, and there was talk of either Los Angeles or there was talk of Vancouver at that time. And to be honest with you, myself and Eve, had a discussion, and we said we don't really care where it is. It could be Timbuktu as long as it gets made, because we love the show that much. And then, as we were progressing on, Russell, and when, before Kai had gotten that confirmation, we were, Eve and I were told, and we were also told about the involvement of people who were going to be in writing and stuff, and we had again some fangasms go on, and how exciting was that, and we knew that it was going to be something completely new and different, so it was a really exciting process.
Russell phoned me just before Christmas as well. I had a lovely voicemail message, and whenever you get a
"Hello, darling, how are you?"
It's Russell T. Davis here. Just to basically say welcome on board, and he basically told me, we just cast Mackay Pfeiffer today, so hooray! Literally was, so it was, hooray! Yeah, so from that first call that Julie, you'd say about 2 months before going out, I was getting updates every week, and good God, I was getting excited.
Can you talk a little bit about the casting and how the process went for that?
Yeah, I can, certainly. As written, Rex Matheson was sort of a blonde-haired, blue-eyed golden boy of the organization, and they were casting and casting and casting, and they just couldn't find anyone they wanted. And we sort of, a bunch of us in the room had been saying, like, what if we switched the ethnicities? And eventually it became clear that was going to be the solution to the casting problem. And then all new opportunities, all new options opened up, and we got Mackay, who was fantastic. Yeah, and you sort of, in retrospect, you look back and say, why was this ever conceived any other way? He's so perfect.
And the entire support cast was great. I know you guys were talking about Bill Pullman, getting Bill Pullman was pretty great.
Awesome.
And can you guys sort of talk about, I know you talked about Bill the other day, but sort of the other people that you worked with, and you guys probably teased them mercilessly, and just sort of how did they integrate into the Torchwood team?
Well, what was interesting is we, I say when we came over, myself, Eve, Kai, and if there was other supporting cast that the couple who play Eve's parents, some of them were able to come over, but the kind of core of it was the three of us, Kai and Eve and myself. So we're already a family in that way, and we already have the way that we kind of work on set, and we know each other really well, and to have other people come into it, although it's hard to explain, because there is a certain, and this is just being open about it and honest, there's a certain hierarchy when you go into a show. Like when I'm guesting, when I'm playing this big guest starring role on Arrow, I go in, I know who's number 1, 2, and 3 on the list. They're the leads. And you give them a certain amount of gravitas because they are. But when people would walk onto our set, Eve and I would be going, "You get your movies out! What you doing? Hey!" And they would be looking at us going, "Oh my God!" And in fact, I heard someone comment once, because I was number 1, Eve was number 2, and I heard someone commenting once, and I overheard them, not a guest star, but someone a little farther down the line, said, "If I was number 1, I would never behave that way." And I went, "Well, you're never going to be number 1.
But I always think the first job of number 1 on the call sheet is creating a happy set, which is what you do.
Well, thank you, and that's something that that's something that I take from my dad, who was a businessman, and he used to go into the factory and walk the factory floor every day. And the first thing that I realized when we made Torchwood, going back, that we're in front of the camera and we get all the glory. We come and we do 50, if you put it all together, probably about maybe 15 to 20, 30 minutes of work actually on that particular scene. But the crew, the people who work behind the scenes, the writers, everybody else, they're putting in slogging, huge hours, and they're the ones that really need the respect. So after we finish every night, I would go and say goodnight directly to the cameramen, say goodnight to the ADs, say goodnight to everybody, and let them know that you appreciate, because they got to stay on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So yes, it was. I'm glad that came across, but
Yeah,
we did
I-
have some fun.
I actually think the job you do at number one on the call sheet is very similar to what Nathan Fillion did on Firefly, which makes me think, why aren't you guys in a thing together? We had
If I was in a show that doing it and JS was fighting for it, that would be awesome!
All right, we'll make that happen.
Now listen, I have to say something, and and I've been with Torchwood since the beginning, and when it was first talked about to give Captain Jack his own show from Doctor Who, and with Russell and Julie, and having all those meetings, and I just have to say that one of I've loved a lot of writers that have written for us, but you in particular. No, I'm gonna give you a fan gush here, okay? So get ready. But for you in particular, knowing the history that you have with the sci-fi world, and also that you're a true lover of it yourself, the way in which Jane writes, it's very important for writers to understand who the people are playing the characters, because what makes it interesting, I think, for you guys to watch, and particularly when I watch a show, I want to see a bit of that person's personality put into the character. It makes it more believable and more truthful. And Jane is one of those people who actually watches you, listens to you, and it makes it a dream for us when she puts the words on the page. Russell's exactly the same, because once they learn how your flow is, the kind of things that you say, the rhythm in which you speak, it makes dialogue so much easier to learn. And also, you get to the heart of the person and to the character, I think, much quicker. So it is an absolute pleasure to work and to bring your work to life on television. And if somebody said to me that you're going to play a tiny weeny part, maybe not so tiny weeny, on a Jane in Espenson, I would do it at the drop of a hat. I loved working with you.
Thank you so much. I love working with you.
I totally agree with John. Jane even wrote in a Welsh accent for me. It's amazing.
Well, that's what makes it possible is knowing when you're writing for performers like this, where you know they're going to be able to do anything. You can write anything. You take all the restrictions off of it. Well, what can this actor do? If you know the actor can do anything, then you can really write what you know what they'd say.
I remember there was one particular scene I was doing it. I cannot remember the name of the board that was underneath Angela's bed. Do you remember what? It was. Does anyone remember? That was keeping him alive. It was suspending his life. But I had this big, huge speech that I was doing, and God love them, but they love to give these huge speeches to me. and I said no, but when you're filming long hours, getting them in your head sometimes is very difficult, particularly if you're filming in small confined spaces. So I was doing this speech, and I remember I was having trouble with one section, and I tried to do things with movement. So it's like a dance and it's choreography. So if I touch here, I know I'm speaking at that time. If I lift that cup and I pour, I know what I'm saying at that time. And there was one point I just kept flubbing over something, and you came up to me and you went, I was on my knees and I was stressing out, and she came up behind me and she went, "Don't worry, it is beautiful." And I was like, "That's fine. I can do it now." I was like, the hand of God just went, "You are blessed."
I don't remember that, but how nice. Because it sounded like I was going to give some advice about, like remember your inner, the moment that you remember that it's beautiful. I think that's good advice. I'm sure it was beautiful.
So the thing I loved about Miracle Day, Jane, was the fact that you managed to make all the Torchwood team bring out these completely new dimensions in their characters that none of us saw coming, and then you brought in all these new characters that had just as much depth and range, and the whole thing just managed to seamlessly come together. And I still have no idea how the hell it happened, but it's one of those things that TV moments that just never happens, where you get a large panorama of characters that are that well written and dynamic. How much sort of pre-thought did you have to do with Jack and Reese to sort of say, where can I take these characters that they haven't gone before, or did it just sort of come out naturally in how they evolved as you wrote it?
That's really Russell. I mean, Russell is the brain behind this, the big throbbing brain, and he is very clear on who these people are, what's buried in the depths of their souls that you've never seen before. And sure, as I was writing them, if I would sort of go like, this is the color I like best from Reese, this emotional color, I might lean toward it, but it's really Russell who says yes or no. And Russell sent us back to do more rewrites than I've ever done on a show. So you'd be turning in, literally, this is draft 9. So at that point, you've gotten the note, go deeper, tell me more about them, find something I didn't know about them. You've gotten that note now 8 times. So you're down subterranean looking for stuff in Reese's soul, and of course you're going to find new stuff.
Mm-hmm. And you guys as actors got to film in LA. What was that experience like for taking Torchwood, which you're very used to having a very Cardiff Central show, and taking that to this huge palette that is Los Angeles?
Awesome. It really was. It was, I remember filming in one of the evenings. It was one of the first nights I worked, and I was filming with Alexa Havens, and we were down in downtown Los Angeles. And in the background, one of the buildings had smoke pouring out of it like it had been blown up, because Jack and she had just jumped out of a window into a pond. We were drenched, soaking wet. And I remember Russell coming up to me at one point going, "Isn't this marvelous? Captain Jack in downtown LA, woohoo!" And then the fire department showed up around the corner because they thought the building was actually on fire. And we created havoc downtown. It was amazing because, as I've said before, and some of you who have been in the other panels, the fact that that it was being made again. Like I said, it could have been made anywhere. We just wanted it to be done. We loved the show. We loved what it was about. And it's going back with Jane and the saying, she's saying about the colors and the finding out about the characters. Having my sister and I just finishing the Torchwood novel again. Russell, we had to put everything to Russell. And Russell again would come back and say, "No, you can't have this person doing that because they're living in such and such." And we had to put, we'd have to take a character out that we wanted to involve because he still has a plan. He has a story, if it's to go forward. Russell's got it all in his head, and he wants to make sure that all the characters are in the right places no matter what is created from the show. Till that point, he's ready to do it again.
Oh my God, that's amazing and wonderful.
Oh, well, that's the assumption I'm making. I'm not sure if it's true. But that's all I can think of if somebody is that in depth with saying, no, this character has to be here at this point, in a book, then, that's it.
Cool.
I certainly remember my first day on the Warner Brothers lot. I hadn't seen Eve for a while, and I turned up and she was in a trailer. John was already on set filming, and I went into Eve's trailer, we screamed, we were like big kids, going, "Oh my God, what the hell's going on?" Then John knocked on the door, and we screamed and screamed. John sort of calmed us down and said, "Remember, it's our show, you just go in there and do it." They're all big fans. And the first scene that you see Gwen and Reese in Miracle Day of Eve waking up in the bed saying that she had a dream and it was Torchwood, that's the first thing we shot at Warner Brothers, and I'll never forget it for as long as I live. I loved every second of it. It was like a dream come true, and I cherished every moment of being there. I loved the city, I loved working on it, I loved being at Warner Brothers. It was just incredible, so I'm truly blessed. I loved every second.
There was the rumor going around Warner Brothers when we were filming. Well, it wasn't a rumor. There was I was in the commissary. Is that what they call it? Yeah, getting some lunch, and I heard two grips, camera people who work out in the set talking. They're on. "Yeah, I hear there's this show down over in studio. I was we were in 20 stage something. Let's say stage 11. Stage 11. They're at stage 11. It's from Wales." Some show from Wales, and the cast, they're pretty raunchy, I'll tell you. The word's getting around. But they have a lot of fun. Maybe we should be working on that show. And I went, "The place is called Wales." Wales.
And they replicated Wales so much. None of my mates believed me that I went over to LA because all of Reese's interior work was actually done in Gwen and Reese's house. on studio, stage 11, wherever it was. And they replicated it perfectly, an old Welsh cottage. And especially when Will Thomas and Sharon Morgan came over to play Eve's parents, they're actually Welsh speakers. So I was speaking Welsh to them on the set in Warner Brothers, and all the people, "What is that you're speaking?" This is Welsh, my friend.
I love the sound of Welsh. I got Eve to speak some to me on the bus at Comic-Con. Can you speak some Welsh for us?
Yes, I can do some Welsh. Dwi'n cael amser gwych yn Dragon Con. Diolch yn fawr iawn I pawb sydd wedi dod yma penwythnos yma. Dych chi gyd wedi bod yn anhygoel I fi. Mae'n greu cael Jay yma, mae'n greu cael John yma. Gobeithio bod ti wedi cael amser gwych.
Croeso I Dragon Con.
I said, thank you for an amazing weekend at Dragon Con. I've loved it and I'm here today with John and Jay. Thank you.
There's no vowels. Very little vowels in Wales. My neighbor every morning when I get up, she tries to teach because we have a house in Wales and I've fallen in love with Wales over the years. But she tries to teach me bits and bobs. It's such a hard language.
I think it sounds like drunken Chaucer.
That's a great description.
That's now the new tourism slogan for Wales.
Come to Wales, drunk. It sounds like a drunken Chaucer.
But I think there was an idea at one stage to have Gwen and Reese talking Welsh in Miracle Day. We did speak about that, which would have been great because it'd be funny because Eve can't speak Welsh, so it's she can. Yeah, she can.
I actually wrote that. I wrote it, when you guys were trying to get into the camp on the UK side, and there was the Englishman who was in charge of it, and I was like, what if they started speaking Welsh to each other as a code he doesn't understand? I wrote a whole scene which sort of indicated this part will be in Welsh, and it ended up getting cut for time. We just needed it for length, but I was so sad to see that go because there's something I loved about it's the UK, it's Britain, it's a place we think of the US as having these amazing, strong they're just like us. And there's this whole other language, another culture that lives side by side with the sort of London culture we see all the time. Let's play with that. Let's have there be sort of seeds of this nationalism coming up in the wake of this horrible thing that's happened. It felt really natural. Plus, we just get to hear them speak Welsh.
The lovely aerial shot of just after Mackay got a spike to the chest and he was in hospital, and it cuts to Wales. It's a great aerial shot of a shot of the Gower basically, sheep running in the field and that beach. It's a terrific shot to see going from LA and straight into the most a lovely coastline in Wales.
Yeah, I love that we had that sort of chilly-looking Welsh beach, and then later on they're on Venice Beach, and you see those two beaches in the same shot.
I love that he commented that you have to pay to get into Wales. You gotta pay to get into this place!
Mackay on Rossili Beach was the best in the back of the Land Rover.
Where's the press service? Where's the press service? What? This is the tea? Tea? Unbelievable.
I swear, Mackay, he was frozen.
Yeah. I mean, and it wasn't, listen, in Wales, when you're going out at night in town and it's a December Friday evening, girls are in mini skirts, high heels, and, short sleeve shirts, and so are the men. Not in high heels and skirts. But, well, some are. But Mackay came out to the beach, and we all knew what to expect because we'd worked, for years there. But Mackay came out, that's what I loved about him, just no qualms. But he had like 3, North Face coats on, and a duvet, and he had a blanket around him, and he was going, let's get this finished.
Shoot it, man, let's shoot it, come on. I met him we met him at the Novotel down in Cardiff Bay. We were all staying there, and we said, we'll go out, we'll take you down to the bay. We took him out on that Sunday night before going to the beach on the thing, and I took him to a pub down the bay called the Eli Jenkins, and it was me, Eve, and Tom Price was there as well, and we had, I brought a pint of Welsh Brains Bitter. He took 2 sips, bless him.
Couldn't touch it.
Couldn't touch it, no.
Yeah. That's the kind of stuff that will knock you flat with a pint.
Mackay is also in the online show I'm doing now called Husbands, and check it out, lovehusbands.com. And he brought a suit with him because we thought we were going to put him in a suit, and then we decided not to use the suit, and he left the suit there. So I had Mackay Pfeiffer's suit for like 4 months because he didn't ask for it back.
Sell it.
So is there anything with Miracle Day that you guys wish you could have done that you didn't get to do?
Well, that Welsh thing.
Yeah.
I would have to say no because I'm one of those people, I trust in what the writers are doing. I trust that people like Jane and Russell and everybody who is involved, they're loving what they do so much. They want it to be right. I trust what the wardrobe people put us in. So I'm there to do what I'm there to do. They're there to do what they're there to do. And I trust that the final product will be what we are all aiming for. And if something has to be cut, then it has to be cut. And it's terrible to see it go, but it's all for the greater good of the show. So I really don't, in my life though, I never regret. Everything was done for a reason. But I'm perfectly happy and content with what we produced as a program and I think I love a brilliant piece of sci-fi.
Again, I do agree with John. I mean, people ask me all the time with these events, would you like to see Reese as part of the Torchwood team? And I always say no, I trust the writers where they're taking Reese. It's a blessing Reese is, still alive, still kind of kicking about, getting more involved. He's aware of it now, so he'll always lend a helping hand in these situations. I let them do with whatever, you know what I mean? I was on a beach in Marseille at the back of this, Land Rover that was driven by John with Eve with a bazooka on her shoulder, shooting down a helicopter, If they'd have told me I'd be doing that, in the first episode I did in season 1, never believed it. So I trust the writers, let them take Reese wherever they want to. As long as they want him, I'll do whatever they want.
I will say this, that when Russell asks for the first draft of the script, he says, don't worry about budget, just write it how you write it. If it was like you had $1 trillion and it's a feature film, just write that version. So the first draft of Immortal Sins, episode 7, you arrive we started at Ellis Island, then you were on the ferry over to the city and we'd see the thing. Then you'd arrive at the city and remember it's the 4th of July and you'd get caught up in a street parade and that's where you see the fireworks. So now you're at the street parade with 1 million people all in vintage, we're all dressed, like stuff you couldn't possibly afford. Then, what else happened? There was like more really expensive stuff. Oh, we see like a couple months later and you're like running a shell game on this fancy street with like all dressed with like fruit stands and guys and things, and you had buddies who were also like low-level con men running in the streets, and you're working your way up through the organization and you get into like all that stuff was written at one point. It was all cut immediately because there was no way you could afford it.
John's eyes
But had we had a feature budget, that would have all been in there.
Wow.
So you can regret that if you like, but you didn't know about it, so now.
Didn't know about it, so now I know. Gee, thanks.
How good was Immortal Sins, by the way? It was amazing.
I like that.
We were saying, I was saying the other day when I was being asked questions in the panel yesterday, the one thing that even though you take that stuff away and that stuff is not there because of budget, sometimes all of that can be answered just with a look between two characters.
That is absolutely right. You didn't need any of it. It would have been pretty eye candy, but the story was about those two guys, and that story lived in that room, and having it outside and all those other characters around, I think we would have lost the intimacy. I think it was better the way it ended up. So you're right, no regrets.
And we have a whole room full of people that would like to ask questions.
Hey!
So we have people with roaming microphones, so if you have a question, raise your hand and they will find you. And please feel free to ask our panel a question.
You can't turn the lights up a little bit.
Yeah, I was about to
see people, because I like to see faces.
Yeah. Hello?
I see movement out there.
Yeah, there's people moving.
I see dead people.
Hello.
There we go.
Isn't there a line about
Hello.
There we go. They're moving.
Hi.
I'm here. Over here.
Well, we can't see
Other
you because of
side,
the lights.
Other
You
side.
guys raise the lights.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
What was I going to ask since you brought it up? John and Kai, please, on husbands?
Oh, can John be on husbands? Yes.
Kai.
John and Kai have husbands? Sure. You want to be on my big gay web series?
Yeah, lovely. Love it.
Do you have to ask?
I would love it.
Yeah, I do this online show called Husbands. Absolutely. If we end up making more.
We know. Sure.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. I'll slip her money later.
She's got the cleavage to slip it in, believe me. No, I did a picture with her. I held them. I know. She said I could. Go ahead. technology flops.
You
got it?
Deadline?
Person over there first then. Sorry, while they figure that out. Go ahead.
Okay, okay. Well, my question is for John. The first time I ever saw you, you were in the producers. That was the first time I'd ever seen you. And then I saw you in Doctor Who, and then in Torchwood. So as I've seen your career, it's gotten darker and darker. Do you prefer the kind of more fun musical theater side of it, or do you like the challenge of the darkness? Or are you one of the people that says, I like that's whatever I'm doing?
Well, first of all, to be honest with you, they're both challenges. Being the musical theater fun side is a great challenge to do 8 shows a week and sing and dance and have that consistency through performances for up to a year or more. It's also a challenge to play the darker side, but I have to say, I would never say which one I prefer, because I absolutely love the diversity of my career, but I do enjoy playing a richer type of character. It's fun to be like a Billy Crocker and running around and making people fall in love with you and making people fall in love. But what's also awesome is playing a guy who is dark and who is challenged and troubled and who has a past and a history and is upset with himself and with things around him, and still make people fall in love with you. That is a greater challenge, and it's also thrilling when that happens, because just an example, going back even another series to Children of Earth, after I sacrificed my grandson, and the young gentleman who was playing my grandson, he came up to me and he said, Mr. Barrow, he'd known me for a long time, so Mr. Barrow said, please call me John. And he's like, John, what should I do to make it? He said, this is a kid's asking me what he should do, as an actor, and I said to him, look, just shake. When I start pushing that button, just look right at the camera and just start shaking, and then the blood will trickle down your nose. And I said, people are going to freak out. And they did. I was walking down the street, and this is the point I'm trying to make. I walked down the street, and I had people coming up to me and saying, I hate you. But I still love you. Brilliant. Yes.
Yeah. Well, give it a try.
Hi, I was wondering about the
Question.
We can't
I
hear you.
hear you. Question
I
for
think it's a
Kai.
question for Kai.
Shout really loud.
So I have a question for Kai about the character Reese. And in the beginning of the whole Torchwood series, he's sort of a one-dimensional, doting boyfriend character, and then by the end, you're this sort of badass in your own right. And I was wondering if you knew if that was planned from the beginning, or if that sort of evolved, your character just evolved naturally. Can you hear me at all?
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah, I can.
Natural badassedness.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you knew how that evolved.
I didn't know what was in store now. I auditioned for the role. I knew this series Torchwood was happening. I knew Eve before the series started. And I went into audition for the role of, kind of a semi-regular Welsh bloke, basically, who likes his food and beer, so quite easy, really. I got the part. Look, fantastic the part. I auditioned with scenes from episode 1, and then I went to the read-through in Cardiff, and I had a little chat with Richard Stokes, the producer, and I said, so what's in store for Reese? Do I see myself, coming back a few times? We don't know. That was his honest answer. We don't know. You'll have a few episodes this series. We really don't know where the character's going. And I said, okay, no problem at all. I'm grateful to be involved anyway. Then Eve took me to one side, and she, had a couple of glasses of wine, this stage kind of thing, and had said to me, listen, we've got to make these characters work. We've got to make people fall in love with Gwen and Reese. We've got to make them real. We've got to make them this. We've got to do this. And we tried our best to, and as the series 1 went on, I was getting more and more involved, and then they were going to kill him off. They were going to kill Reese off season 1. He was definitely going. He did get killed. Yeah. But then they made the decision to bring him back to life, fair play. So, and then yesterday at my audio panel, I commented on the episode Meet, where Reese finds out about Torchwood. And Russell T Davies said the first thing they decided for the second season of Torchwood was that Reese must find out about this, what's going on. And then it's just gone from strength to strength. I've been really blessed. And then Children of Earth, you know, incredible that he's still around. And then Miracle Day, the more he's got involved, the more emotion has been involved, and the more brave he became, the more respect he has for the other Torchwood team, the more love he has for Gwen. He's married, he's got his wife. Yeah, just great writing again.
And he starts to back Jack up.
Yeah, he does. That's amazing in Miracle Day.
Unless you're writing Game of Thrones, you can't know everything about where the characters are going. You have to find it all.
Yeah. Just basically, as John said previously, whatever's written we'll do, and Reese had more and more and more to do, so I'm totally grateful. I love it.
Yes.
First off, a whole bunch of people were wondering when you guys were going to do Walk of Fame.
After this.
Straight after this.
All right. There are going to be a lot of people there, just so you know.
Good.
Second, my question is for all of you. What do you think is the difference between the relationship of Jack and Gwen and Reese and Gwen?
Oh, completely different. Reese and, do you mind?
Oh no, you know.
Reese and Gwen are in a love of a sexual husband and wife relationship and a family. Jack is in more of an admiration love for Gwen, and also he's learning from her, and that's why she is there. I always put it out that, you know, Jack is brain and bronze, and Gwen's character, Eve's character, Gwen, started out as the heart, but she becomes, from Jack, brain and heart, and she's also teaching Jack about the heart, but Jack is having trouble with that, and he always has her there. He would do anything for her. He would also, as you learn, he'd kill her if he had to. And she'd kill him. If both of them overstepped the boundaries, and that was even I loved playing that scene. I'm tied up in the back of the car, and she's driving, and we basically, for the first time ever, tell each other exactly how we feel about each other. And, you know, and I think, if I can remember, you know, vaguely, Jack actually looks at her and says, I would rip your head off. If you tried to end my life, I will kill you. And she turns and says the same thing. You harm my family, I'll kill you. So, and from that point on, much easier to get along with. But, you know, I mean, they got along fine, but you know what I mean? So that's a very different kind of love, but the love is there.
Yeah, Reese adores every inch of Gwen, you know, and he also understands now that she has to go off and save the world. He was very fed up when, as it was written, Captain Jack Bollocks turned up in the first episode. But by episode 9, he says, you know, you've got to go. Away you go then to Shanghai and save the world, my darling. I'll be here. And he kind of knows that Jack will look after her. You know what I mean? And they have a lovely, warm, loving relationship. Nothing would please Reese more to have her at home with Anwen in their house, cooking and chilly, watching a movie. But he also accepts now this crazy world that she's there with, and Reese doesn't mind getting involved in because he thinks the sooner I'm involved, maybe the sooner she'll come home to me. So an extra pair of hands is always handy. So yeah.
Definitely.
And a word for shout out to Anwen. That baby. I hope that baby is somewhere out playing a baby in something great right now, because that was a great baby.
Oh, the pink earmuffs that he walking down the corridor.
I know, the baby was laughing. You could not have got a baby to do that if you even tried. Go back and look at that sequence when she's blasting down the hallway. The baby's in her arms going, nuts!
Baby Anwen played by 2 twin boys actually called Oliver and Marcel.
They were awesome.
Yeah, they were lovely.
I didn't know that was twin boys.
Yeah.
They deserve some sort of award for playing one baby girl. I mean, that's gotta be good.
They'll be at next year's Dragon Con, guaranteed.
Yes. We can. You can hear him, but we can't up here with the foldback. Go ahead.
Can I just start off by saying, Sexy Man Alive, love you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It might have been for him. But I just say thank you anyway.
I'm a Torchwood fan, and I was wondering, everyone knows the 21st century is when everything changes. Are we going to touch that at all in the new series of Torchwood?
We don't know know if there is a new series. We probably, it's one of those things with, with British television and also with the collaboration with Stars and the BBC. It's never been said, no, it's not happening. It's never been said, yes, it's happening. So I look at it in the state, I like to think we're in a limbo. And as Julie said to me in a meeting I had with her in Los Angeles, she said it's the type of thing, as always with Torchwood, it could come back. It could come back in 2 years. It could come back in a very different form, but it may not. So we just have to wait and see. So, but I don't know, who knows what we'll touch on. If I had my way, I would take the book that we've written and I'd have Jane work it into a movie, and we'd do a big, huge Torchwood movie. And Russell would be involved too. Don't worry.
Yeah. I'm not doing it without Russell.
No.
Yeah.
Please. Write that love scene, Jane. Oh my God. Can I say, for a lady, she writes great gay sex scenes.
It's kind of become my job.
God love you for it. Yes.
My question was, for all of you up there, other than another season of Torchwood, what projects would you love to do if you had choice of anything that you could possibly do in the future?
So that's your chance.
Yeah, the
Be
next
on Husbands. Do a love scene with Nathan Fillion, maybe. Do you know, I don't really know, to be honest with you. I'd like to keep working, and I'd like Reese to turn up on the TARDIS, that'd be quite cool. Companion for an episode, that'd be quite funny, I think, But yes, just to keep working, possibly, maybe one day a musical. I'd love to do a musical, but who knows, yeah.
I'm writing for Once Upon a Time now, and I'd love to work with Joss again. And other than that, what can one wish for? More Torchwood, I guess. That would be perfect.
Well, for me, I would. I'm working on Arrow at the moment. It's going to be exciting. Then, obviously, my first love is Torchwood, and Doctor Who. If I was ever asked to be back on Who, I would do it at the drop of a hat. I love Captain Jack. If Torchwood were ever to come back, I would love that. But I also have my own production company in the UK, and we're at the moment working on a TV show for BBC America, which I'm involved in. Funny that, but it's more of it's a musical-based show, but not anything like Glee or anything like that. I don't want to give too much away, but I'm very excited about it. It's my own idea, and it's something I'm passionate about. So I'm doing that, and I'd also love to bring my variety show over here to the States. I've been in talks with. I've already been in meetings with some networks and things like that. As you know, Jane, when you go in with the networks and you pitch things, something might come of it, something might never come of it. But it's always that dream, and that you have to strive for those things. So who knows?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Network meetings are fun though.
Oh yeah.
They make you feel like anything's possible.
Oh, absolutely. And then you walk out and you go, yeah, that was great, and then you don't hear a thing. Unbelievable. That young lady.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear this?
Yes.
Okay, good. So my question's for everyone, but mostly Kai. You mentioned earlier that a lot of the exterior shots for Miracle Day were shot in Wales, the interiors were in LA, and being especially that we spent basically the show in Wales, like what was that like for you, having to pretend to be in cold, rainy Wales and outside it's sunny and bright?
Yeah, he wasn't a big sweater, wasn't he, when all the interiors were going on. They replicated Gwen and Reese's cottage, or Gwen's mother and father's house, immaculately. It was the spitting image of the house we were in Wales. They had a few Welsh mugs and British tea bags around the place. That was easy to do, and I was basically with the Welsh cast, only in bloody LA doing it. So it was So that was quite simple. And yeah, and all the exterior stuff you see, even Gwen and Reese in like the concentration camps and all that, that was all done exterior work in Wales. But everything you see Reese interior, apart from the last scene that you see Reese in episode 10. The very last couple of scenes of that, he's in LA.
I remember when they were designing some of those interiors that Russell said that he would have to get personally involved, that he had to go down to the set and really look at it because it had to be a proper Welsh cottage.
Yes, yeah.
And that he knew that wasn't going to be right if he didn't get in there. So it was really inspected for authenticity.
The cottage that we were meant to be when Alexa and I were in Scotland, that was in a studio in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And in fact, I walked in and they had something up on the wall, and I said, "Take that down immediately," because no Scotsman would ever have their own coat of arms up on a wall, because that's something that Americans buy to put up on their wall. Seriously, it is. And you know those plaques that have the tartan and then it says the code. You just wouldn't have that in a cottage in Scotland because you know your coat of arms, you know what your family is. So I say, and Russell, take it all, his intricacy, I said, take it down, it won't work. So, yeah, it was fun. Yes?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I very, very much hope you guys are able to bring Torchwood back someday, and let's do everything we can. But I was wondering if you were able to bring Torchwood back, or if you were able to get on Doctor Who again, can you imagine a scenario where they could bring Yanto back for a little bit?
No. That's Russell's answer. No. Russell always said to us after that happened, and I was saying, I said to Russell about the flag, and he knew the thing that we were coming back, and Russell just blatantly said he's not coming back, and that's Russell, yeah. But what's interesting is when we did the radio play, Yanto came back, but as a spirit, and Jack. You didn't realize that until towards the end, as Jack had to say goodbye to him, and he told him that he loved him. Dramas are dramas. You have to do things to stir it up. Jay knows this. You have to sometimes upset the audience, because if we continue to go down the same route all the time, the show would become boring. And I'm not saying their relationship was boring, because I loved the relationship between Jack and Yanto, and I thought it was a huge, big step in the right direction towards showing a loving relationship between two men, one who was omnisexual and the other one who was just sexual. It's like, Russell in the writing said, it's not about, Yanto said in one of his dialogues, it's not about being gay or being straight, it's about the man. It's falling in love with the man, the person. But yeah, I don't think he'll come back, no. But, sorry. But Jack will need to find other loves. But that's not to say you could do a flashback, you never know.
Yeah,
that's the way
exactly.
you could do it. So, Jack can travel back in time. How about that for an episode? Jack goes onto the TARDIS, gets the Doctor to take him back in time, dumps him right before the 456 are about to gas it, and he saves Yanto's life, and they go off and they live in that Scottish cottage without that plaque.
They can do anything, couldn't they?
You all write fan fiction, you can do it.
You imagine it happen on tour.
If you write that story, I'll sue you. Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm Mr. J. You've written pretty much all my favourite shows. The tone of the British version of Torchwood, the tone of the American version is very, very different to me compared to that.
I heard that the tone of the British is very different than the American series, and what?
This when I prepared to write for what was ostensibly a British show that's been transferred to the American.
And how did I prepare for that?
That's right.
Sorry. Watched a lot of it, but mostly you put your trust in Russell. That I will write this the way I see it. My interpretation of this is my attempt to be a chameleon sitting on top of the British show. Let's see if I successfully turned my colors into those colors. And then Russell says, no, you are clearly pink when it's green underneath you. Make that green. And you know, through the rewrite process, you get as close as you can to capturing the tone that he's going for, which may not be the exact same tone. You may want to make the tone a little different. They're in the U.S., the sunlight's flooding in. I have another thought. Already gone. Oh, I know. Like the first episode where I tried to write Gwen, I got it all wrong. Russell was like, I don't know what country she's from, but that's not Wales. Second episode I wrote it, he was like, what did you do? Did you go get some sort of Welsh blood infusion or something? Because she suddenly sounded Welsh, and it was like you find it. You do your best to find it.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, yes, okay. John, I wanted to ask you real quick about Attack of the Show and when those episodes air. And I wanted to ask Jane, in that Doctor Who was the predecessor for Torchwood, there is a specific relationship between the Doctor and a companion. Is there a conscious way that Torchwood, the relationship between Jack and Eve Miles' character is similar to or dissimilar to the relationship between the Doctor and the companion?
Let's do yours first.
Well, Attack of the Show, I'm in LA, I fly back tonight, and I will be hosting Attack of the Show all next week. With cameras, so we will have a good time.
And you were saying you feel, yes, of course, that the Jack and Gwen relationship.
Well, of course, I mean, I look at it from a different, this will probably be a different answer, but I'm sure it'll be down the same lines. I look at it, yes, it's very similar because Jack learned from the Doctor. So Jack carries that sense of relationship and leadership because he is one of the companions and one of the team on Doctor Who, but in Torchwood he is the leader and has a sense of companion, but almost a counterpart with Gwen, because as time goes on, the one thing that we've done in Torchwood that they don't really do in Doctor Who, because companions change all the time, Jack has a constant. And the companion becomes stronger and stronger-willed and more like the person they're with, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly right. And I think there was something interesting I was really proud of that I got to do, which is in the backstory with Angelo, you specifically reference. You say, I've got a friend who has a companion, maybe we could be like that. And I was really proud of that, and I thought Russell would probably say, no, it's a different thing, or I don't want to reference Doctor Who, and he ran with it. He loved that. So I was really happy that we got to specifically reference Jack as having a companion-like relationship with someone else.
My question is for Kai. In reading specifically the dialogue written by an American for Welshman, did you ever find yourself having to change any sentence structure or phrasing or even slang or anything like that to make it sound more Welsh?
I'm sure you had to Welsh and stuff.
Yeah, I think maybe a little bit. Yeah, nothing massive. Because again, I think Russell would sort of go, he wouldn't say, he wouldn't say what's up. He'd say hello, kind of thing. I think Russell would probably tweaked a lot of it, and then so he kind of edited all that kind of thing. That Reese wouldn't say that again. I actually thought it was written pretty spot on for Reese, really. In dialect-wise, definitely. I sound Welsh. That's basically read it, learn it, say it, and it was there. So he certainly didn't have any Americanisms in there, kind of thing. So but no, I didn't actually.
If there was ever any changes you wanted, or if you wanted to say a different word, we always went to the people, the writers, and the people in charge and asked.
Which sometimes we wouldn't really say this,
Or could I say this word instead of this? And sometimes you get, no, just say the way it is. That's it.
But mostly, no.
The one mistake I noticed actually goes the other direction, that we have an American character say car park instead of parking lot, and I don't know how we got there.
I said garbage. We said garbage in one of those lines. I remember that.
Oh, it should be rubbish?
Yeah.
Rubbish.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi.
Hello.
I have two questions, actually. The first one would be, how much of a chance is there for any future visits of Torchwood on Doctor Who?
I don't know. It's completely up to Stephen Moffat and the team he has at the moment. Like I said, if ever, I'm sure and Eve would feel the same way, and same with Kai, if we were ever asked to make an appearance on Doctor Who, obviously we love the world of it, we would do it, yes. But it's very different. The crossover area is very different, and it's not just about how fun it is. There's a whole legal issue with the crossover. And I was just saying in an interview this morning, like for instance with what my sister and I have written, Jack can't swear in a book. And I maybe, I might be putting words into somebody's mouth, but I get the feeling from this because I know with how we approach things, we would, with Jack, it's much better to show relationship, and we don't think of, in the world of Torchwood, as relationships and sexuality, things being bad or rude or dirty. So we put all that in, and we can cross that in and cross that over, but we can't swear and cross it over because that's not nice. Do you get it? So it's that kind of issue. But I would love it. I mean, of course I would love it if any of us got into.
Be amazing.
Doctor
Your
Who.
dream come true.
That whole sequence in Torchwood where we're in the hub, and you have Yanto and Gwen in the hub, and there's a Dalek floating there. I so wanted the Daleks to come and attack us in Torchwood. And we had a cyber woman, just not a cyber man. What was the line that Yanto used to always say to her? Lisa! Oh, kill her already. You got me.
I get asked all the time, what somebody asks the question, what would you like to do as an actor, anything else you'd like to do? I've been a fan of Doctor Who since I can remember. I'd love to be a Doctor Who, be it as Reese, or,
an alien.
Or an alien, or a ball of fat. Just like
Yes.
Hello. I was wondering, you had so many great guest stars going through Miracle Day. Who did you have for only one or maybe two episodes that you wanted to keep for the whole series?
What great guest stars. We wish you guys long for longer.
I enjoyed Nana's character, Angelo's daughter.
Nana visitor.
Nana, I loved her. I enjoyed her. I liked the fact that when she stepped out of that after Gwen and Gwen had taken Jack on a ride, and she was going to sacrifice him and give him over to what she didn't know at the moment, and then she stepped out of the car in those long legs and that tight pencil skirt and those high heel shoes, and she walked forward and she stood what I call I'm not going to swear, but then she stood there and she had her legs kind of spread and she's looking at us like, I'm going to mess you guys up, and it's that those kind of things, and I would love to have seen her more. I didn't realize that she got blown up until the day she was getting blown up.
She got blown up real good. There was when Mackay Pfeiffer was taken into the camp, there was a young doctor who had 2 lines. That is Brad Bell, my co-writer and co-creator of Espenson. So we should have more of him.
I must say, again, it worked massively, but I thought Arlene did a fantastic job in Miracle Day.
Yeah.
And it worked great, Dr. Juarez, getting incinerated or cremated. I think Arlene did a terrific job and a really good character that could have, maybe in a couple more episodes. But
Jack should have had sex with her.
do you want to ask your second question?
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. My second question is, as such huge fans of the show, what can we all do to help get Torchwood brought back?
I think probably quiet patience will get you more than loud agitation.
Yes.
Oh, right to Jane!
No, I think you just have to let it kind of lie. And there's a lot of things that are beyond others, our control in a way to let it.
Yeah, there's nothing the executives at Stars can do to make anything go faster. That it won't. All it will do is sort of buzz in their ears in a way that may not work toward what we want.
Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, and I talk about it, when I'm doing stuff because I love the show, but I would not suggest emailing, doing all that stuff. Just let it work, let them decide, let it have its life, and we'll see what happens. Because know that we want to do it, and that's all you got to know.
Thank you guys so much.
You're welcome.
I had thought about the swearing.
What?
When Torchwood US started, there was a chance it could have gone to a broadcast US network, and you wouldn't have been able to swear.
No.
Aren't we lucky that didn't happen?
Oh my gosh, I mean, 'cause we wouldn't have been able to have the male sex scene, you know, the scenes like that. Not at all.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have done it then. Yes.
This is the last question.
Last one.
My question is for Jane and by proxy the other writers for Torchwood. Why do you guys feel the need to tie John up and torture him quite so often? It's starting to get weird.
To tie John up and torture him quite so often. It's fun.
And because I like it. I have to say, what was very interesting, I'm sorry, Jane, this question was for you.
You go with it.
What was very interesting was in Britain, there was a huge big kerfuffle in the newspapers because there was apparently a gay sex scene between Jack and the bartender, which was really, honestly, they kissed and nothing else happened. It was left to your imagination. And the press went nuts about it. This scene was awful, it should be cut, and blah, 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 blah. And then I was asked about it in public, and I said, are you joking? It was left to your imagination. It's on after 9 o'clock, but it's not right for me to kiss another man, but yet I could be hung in a basement, shot 50 times, stabbed and bled to death, and show that on screen, and that's okay? What's the kind of standard? Not saying I don't love that, but it's nice to have both. So it was interesting.
You're making a good case. Maybe we should replace a lot of that torture with more kissing. We could do that.
I was going to say something really
I can guarantee you,
torture Jack by getting him shagged all the time. Yes.
And I can guarantee you, if and when Torchwood does come back, you will see a naked Captain Jack in it somewhere. I can guarantee you.
I just said, put him in a gangbang. It'll be awesome. You're blushing! Because I would love that! Jesus, that'll be all over the press.
Maybe Reese and Jack next time.
So thank you.
It's the Sabbath for crying out loud.
Thank you so much for coming out for the Torchwood Miracle Day panel.